Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Business and Experts Forum. My name is Marcus Cato, and I'm your host for this evening. Wow, tonight, just so you know, we have an interesting guest on the program. But before I introduce the guest, just want to tell you what Business and Expert Forum is about. This is a platform for developing people and businesses through our knowledge sharing. We bring in experts who come and share their knowledge with us. It features successful business executives, budding businesses, and also prospective entrepreneurs. The program also highlights the progress and achievement made by people who are willing to go the extra mile to improve their lifestyles and the lifestyles of those around them. And we do this by discussing some of the strategies that they have adopted and their approach. Also, we feature experts and specialists in their respective fields coming here to share knowledge on everyday topical issues such as technology, finance, medicine, engineering, entertainment, social media, law, just you name it, we have it. So if you're someone who wants to go into business or someone who wants to improve your businesses or you want to gain knowledge and if you want to develop your passion into and talent into a business venture, this forum is for you. And we are live every 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. And please remember to subscribe to our channel and by clicking on the bell so that you can receive notification from us when a new episode is scheduled. Tonight we have with us a business entrepreneur, Mrs. Ibukum Olajide. She is the CEO of Chili Gold, a unique business which transforms chili, or what we or some of us know as pepper, into a variety of products for a wide range of markets. And she's achieved that by following a pathway that is different from the norm. She has been a chili enthusiast for over 2 years and counting. She is also known for providing motivational or business coaching for prospective entrepreneurs by helping them transform their passion into business profits. Ebokum is here to share her story on how she developed a unique affection for chili and transformed that affection into a business. She would also talk about other innovative ways of giving back to the society through passing on knowledge to prospective entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mrs. Ibokum Olajide.
Hello. Thank you for that introduction. It's always good when someone hypes you. Thank you.
Good, Ibokum. It's nice to have you on the program. I must say that you are someone who doesn't cease to surprise me with what you are doing, and my audience will get to understand why I say that because when we go through what you are doing, a uniqueness of what you're doing, people will realize that it's a different pathway. It's out of the norm, and you are actually an outlier and you're doing things differently to achieve different results and better results. Okay, so what we're gonna do is that before we delve into your passion and special affection for chili, can you tell our audience a little about your background, just a little bit about your background before we delve into the business aspect of it?
Okay. So I am by training a chemical engineer. I did chemical engineering. I got a master's. I worked with chemical engineering and then moved into procurement. Spending money professionally is the way I like to describe procurement. And have done that for a number of years, and I'm still doing that in my business today, spending money professionally. So that's my educational and professional background. As a person, I am first and foremost a Christian. I am a daughter. I am a wife and a mother of two wonderful boys who are the joy of my life. So, in that sense, I am, I am, I am a lovely person. I hope a lot of people will say after they watch this interview, and that's who I am.
Okay, so and that's interesting. So tell us, what business do you currently run? I know we're going to delve into, but just tell us what business do you currently run?
So I run an artisan chili business where I make a range of chili products from hot sauces to chili flakes to cooking sauces, as well as chili oil. I am also a business coach where I help people start. So that's my niche. I am very specialized in helping people start up a business by turning their passion into a service or a product and then profit.
Interesting. Okay, that is interesting. So, if I may ask you, what actually got you into that relationship with chili? Of all the things that you possibly could fall in love with, why
Yeah.
fall in love with chili?
What's there not to love about chili? So where I'm from, so my name is Nigerian in origin, but I was born in Manchester. It's a long story, but in terms of my background, there's a saying in Yoruba language that people who don't love chili don't love life, or don't
Okay.
pretty much have life. And I actually fell in love, if you will, with chili at a very young age. I don't know how old I was exactly when my uncle decided to feed myself and my brothers with a very hot, spicy hot bean cake. So
Okay.
in Nigeria and I'm sure in most parts of Africa, there's a fried bean cake in the cuisine somewhere. And he gave us a very spicy one. And from then on, I've loved chili. So I came to the UK back from Nigeria because at some point I lived in Nigeria and I wanted to cook. So I went to the market, got some chilies, and I was like, that's not hot.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? And that started my journey of frustration in the UK of not finding anything hot enough to eat. So I put that to one side though, because I was into setting up myself professionally as an engineer. I was at university, I was learning. So I went ahead with that and just kept going. But at some point, I got frustrated in a 9 to 5 job. That's what started me, if you will, on the path of fully understanding what exactly am I passionate about? What do I like to do? And at that point, it wasn't, oh, yes, I like to make chili sauces. No, it just started with I love chili and I love to cook.
Okay.
And I knew I didn't want to be a caterer
Right.
or a chef in a restaurant because it just didn't spark joy in me. But then marrying the two together, I was like, I could make chili products. I will be so
Right.
happy if someone says, yes, that is hot. And that actually became my tagline. Trust me, it is hot. And
Right.
in that sense, being able to develop a range of products from chilies, that's how I started.
I Very interesting, and it's interesting that you actually identify the need through a number of ways. First of all, your was it your dad or your dad or your uncle was giving you that chili bean, and that's hot, and maybe in that at that point it was you had a burning sensation in the mouth. You thought that was punishment at the time, but then you grew to love it, and then
Yeah.
and just combining that, getting that used to that hot chili, and coming here and knowing how to cook, combining that into a product. That's really interesting. It's about basically looking around, identifying where the niche is, where the opportunity is, and actually tagging onto that opportunity. But you also started by saying that you were a chemical engineer by profession,
Yes.
but you actually grow your chili yourself, and that's what's really very interesting about you. You actually grow the chili yourself. You don't buy chili off the market. You grow it.
No,
Why?
yeah. I couldn't find a chili hot enough. So a lot of the chilies we get, especially if you go to an African store, is a Scotch bonnet or habanero, which are hot to a few people. But to me, I would need at least about four of those to a tin of tomatoes if I'm making a Nigerian stew. That's
Right.
my level, if you will. And that's just okay, if you will. So I started to research what else is hotter out there, only to discover there are hundreds of species of chilies in the world. So
Right.
I bought some seeds. This was back in 2018. Bought some seeds. I've never grown anything successfully in my life, I'll be honest with you. But the chilies are very forgiving plants. You
Right.
could neglect them. I put that in parentheses, and they would still survive. They're quite hardy under the right conditions.
Right.
So I bought, I'm trying to remember the exact chilies I bought, but they were hotter than a Scotch bonnet. I bought eight and two died. So I ended up with six. I'm like, okay, not too bad. I can grow these. And they were really nice and hot. And I
Right.
experimented with a few chili sauces with those
Right.
eight. And a lot of people were like, yeah, I will buy that. So I thought, okay, I would grow more. So I grew 30 the next
Right.
year.
Right.
And with the 30, I was able to make more, but I knew it wasn't enough for a viable business.
Right.
So I thought I don't have the resource to buy farmland right now, and
Right.
I don't even know how to go about it. But let me see if I can buy a bigger greenhouse for my garden. And
Right.
in the process of doing that, I was driving past a garden center. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people should be familiar with what a garden center is. And the light reflected off one of the greenhouses, literally reflected into the car. And I thought they might have some space they're not using. Maybe I could go ask them if I could rent space from them
Right.
and just grow a few, maybe 50 chili plants.
Right. Right.
And I dismissed the idea immediately. Like, no, they would laugh me out of the place. Like, what do you know about growing commercially? So I got home, told my husband, this thought came to my mind. And he said, yeah, go and ask them. I'm like, but they're going to laugh me out. Look at me. I am not necessarily someone who looks like she knows what she's talking
Doing.
about in terms of
Definitely don't look
planting.
like a farmer.
Exactly. I don't look like a farmer, number one. And number two, this is a huge garden center near where we live.
Okay.
And he said, you should go. So I went. And it was one of those conversations where you're laughing throughout because you're not taking yourself seriously.
Serious.
So I went to the customer service director and was laughing my way through. I was just thinking, you might have a bit of space where I could grow a few chili plants because that's what I do. I am starting this chili brand and everything. And and she said to me, actually send me an email. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
and she gave me the email address. I sent an email. I heard nothing, and I was like, you see,
There you go.
nothing was going to come out of this, and so on and so forth. And then I went in because I go to the garden center to buy the things for my chilies and so on and so forth. I went in and I saw her and I said, oh, I sent the email. I never heard back. I know it was a bit of a reach. And she said, no, actually, I sent the email on to the owners. They should have gotten back to you. I would follow up. Within a week, I was sitting down with the owner of the garden center and telling him my vision.
Good.
I didn't have a PowerPoint. I had nothing. I had no evidence whatsoever of, of me being able to do what I was proposing I could do. But he keyed into my passion, and that's what he said. He
Okay.
said, I'm getting a very warm feeling from you, Ibukun, and it's not the bacon roll I just had. That's what he
Oh.
said to me. And he said, how much space do you need? I'm like,
Right.
okay, we're doing this. I said, well, I just want to grow a few plants, maybe 100. And he said, okay, come with me. Literally, same meeting. He walked me to a greenhouse space that they were not using. Well, it's a polytunnel space they were not using, and said, I can give you this to grow your chilies.
Did you
And
fall
in that
down?
first year, say again?
Did you fall down out
Um,
of disbelief?
Let me tell you, I don't even remember what I did in the moment, but I remember coming home feeling overwhelmed
Okay.
because
Okay.
I thought, this is not happening. Is it? Is it really happening? And yes, it happened. He pretty much said, I can give you this space. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is huge. He said, well, you can also have the one next to it. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
no, no, no.
no, no,
Let
no.
me start with this one. Please, let me start with this one. And
Okay.
this is me going from 30 to 200 plants.
Right. Okay. You know what I'm gonna stop you right there because we have a
Yeah.
picture of
Yeah.
what your garden or what you call it a garden. We call it like I call it a farmhouse or what it is.
I've
And we have
started
a
to call
picture
it a
of it.
farm.
And
Yeah.
we want to show you, want to show our audience what it looks like on the screen. So that's going to come up shortly, so that people can see how the farm. This is the product. We want to see the
Yeah.
farm. We want to see this is your farm.
So this is half of my farm.
This is half of the farm. So
So in the
how
first
many
year,
products do you have? How many pots do you have in that space? In that
in
half
in
of it?
that space you just saw a picture of, I have about 300 plants. On the
Okay.
other side, I have just shy of 200. So this year, I did take on the next space that he said he would give me, and I'm growing just shy of 500 plants this year.
Okay. On the screen now, we can see some of the products that have come off your farm.
Yes,
That looks like a variety of chilies.
yes.
Tell us about it. Why are some long and red and some green and short and rounded? What's the difference between those chilies?
So you can see the mildest chili I grow is a jalapeno, which are the green ones on there,
Right.
and it has some heat, not as much as a Scotch bonnet, but I use it to make one of my best sellers, which was in one of the pictures that I've whizzed by, which is a
Okay.
chipotle. It's a chipotle chili mash. So it's a smoked jalapeno with some smoked garlic and chilies and sea salt and oil. Very simple recipe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of my best sellers. So the long chilies are hotter than a Scotch bonnet, in my opinion. They're called Comet Till. So they come in different shapes, which is why they're called Comet Till. But I do grow the Carolina Reaper, which is the hottest chili in the world as well. And
Okay.
yeah, all here in lovely
So
UK.
interestingly, so did you know the names of these chilies before you started this business? So you have apart from focusing on what you can do with the chili, you've done a bit of research on what these chilies are, the level of if you want to put the term hotness or spiciness of those chilies. That's really interesting. So, can you tell me, are there any in your business? Are there any benefits from growing a chilies yourself instead of buying them off the market?
Definitely. So, from my background as a chemical engineer, this is smart business sense to vertically integrate your supply chain. If
Okay.
I break that down for you, it's you pretty much being the supplier to your supplier.
Okay.
So if you are able to control that part of the supply chain, you're able to control your costs even better, as well as your quality, as well as your timeliness. So as opposed to waiting for a supplier who might or might not have something hot enough for me,
Mm-hmm.
I already know what I have.
Right.
So, in that sense, yes, there's a huge advantage in vertically integrating your supply chain.
Do you in addition to cultivating the chilies as it were, do you still buy some off the market in addition to what you cultivate? Has the market grown that big enough for you to buy some in addition to what you cultivate on your farm?
So, in low season, sometimes I would have to, but there are also other opportunities for me to experiment with other chilies because, like I said, there are hundreds of varieties of chilies. I can't grow everything, and I know my limits, which is pretty much time and space right now. So, yes, to answer your question, I would buy other things. So, one of my other very well known products is a chili salt that uses Szechuan peppercorns.
Mm-hmm.
And Szechuan peppercorns only grow in the Szechuan region of China. I definitely can't grow that. And it's not a chili, but it does produce a similar reaction to chili. So, yes, I do use other things as well.
Okay, okay, that's interesting.
Mm.
Now, I know you've talked a little bit about the process of cultivating the chilies. Can you explain to our audience um, the process of cultivating to the point of harvest? I mean,
Mhm.
you put them in the ground or in the pots, and then they grow. Yes, you got a product now. What do you do to the harvest? What happens through the harvest period? Are they harvested in a very special way? Are they mechanized harvesting or are they hand picked? How do you get to that harvesting? How does that happen?
So I had a bunch of willing volunteers who helped me harvest in the first year. So this is the second year that I'm on that farm, if you will. And in the first year, volunteers helped me harvest throughout harvest season, which is literally now. And this
Okay.
year, I have managed to hire someone. Like, I'm like, oh my word, I'm an employer now. So it's very interesting in terms of walking that through. But to answer your question directly, I do harvest by hand. It's not mechanized yet.
Mm-hmm.
And with regards to the process, you literally snap it off the plant, and then I take it away, I destalk it, it's washed, then it's processed into the variety of products that I then sell at markets, at festivals, and online. So I have an online shop as well.
Oh, you do have an online shop.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. We will come to the marketing bit then. But then, can you tell us? I mean, plants grow differently in different
Mm,
environments. Do you need, can you grow the chilies anywhere, or do you need special soil conditions to grow your chili? Because obviously, I mean, for you, the benefit of your process is that you are cultivating them in pots, which means that you can decide what soil goes into the pots.
yes.
Okay, but could chilies grow anywhere?
No, they can't grow in cold conditions. So if I talk you through my process, the I seed my chilies literally on the 1st of January. So
Okay,
after, woken up from the wonderfulness that was New Year's Eve,
yeah,
I sit down for an hour or two and I soak my chilies in a very weak tea solution to get them ready to go into the soil. And
right.
over the course of a week, I put them into small pots for them to sprout.
Okay,
Then I keep them in a warm environment because here in the UK it's quite cold in January up until maybe, well, it's cold throughout the year. But let's talk practically. For chilies, I need to keep them in a warmish environment
mm-hmm.
until the last frost, which is to hopefully towards the end of March or the beginning of April. It will then leave a greenhouse grow tent area and then go into the farm, which you saw a picture of at the beginning of April. And then it literally grows from a small seedling all the way into a full blown plant. The pods are ripe and ready for harvest from July onwards.
So this is from April um,
Yeah.
to July. That's about 3 months.
Yes, for it to grow into a huge plant and dependent on the chili. So the jalapenos, as you can see,
Yeah.
I do like to get a few of them green,
Right.
but they do turn red when they're
Okay.
fully ripe. So that's when I start to make my chipotle. Once it's green and it's about to start to turn red, I harvest that and then turn it into chipotle. But there are some like the Scotch bonnets, the Dorset naggers. I can name a whole list of chilies. So please stop me if it's
Okay.
getting too detailed.
Okay.
And those
So
need to turn red or yellow.
you said it right. I'm going to stop you there because what we want to do is I want to show some of your. So what we're going to ask you to do is
Mhm.
start talking about the products now,
Okay.
and we're going to have some of the products on the screen. So maybe when
Hmm.
it comes, you can tell us what that is as briefly as possible, what that is, and what it could be. What are the benefits of that particular product? So that when I go onto the market and I'm looking for chili and I see your product on there, I know that
Hmm.
product A from Chili Gold does has these benefits as compared to product B from Chili Gold. So
Okay.
um, I'm going to ask my technical director to put the products, actually the ported products, on the screen so we can have a chat, have a look at it, and then you tell us what the benefits are for those products.
Okay, so whilst we're waiting on the products to come through, one key thing a lot of people don't know about chilies is an average chili has more vitamin C than an orange,
Okay.
which is an interesting fact. Chilies are actually quite beneficial to you in terms of health properties. I can't see the picture very clearly. Is it
Yeah,
me?
I'm struggling to see that. I can see this Chili Gold at the top, but at
Okay.
the bottom, I can't see what it reads there.
From the graphic, I think that is the chili pepper chutney. So a chutney, for those
Right.
familiar with that cuisine, is pretty much almost like a pickled vegetable medley. It can be coarse in terms of where you have chunks. It can be chunky or it can be smooth. Mine is a smoother one, and it's sweet. So this is the only product I have in this season that has sugar added to it, and
Okay.
it has apple cider vinegar in there, and you can use it on a cheese board. You can use it as a dip. You can use it as a marinade on chicken or anything. So that's what that product is. It's very nice, if I say so myself. But yeah, it's one of my bestsellers. I have three bestsellers, which I can talk you through as we go through the pictures.
Okay.
So
I'll see
yeah,
whether we can get the next picture
okay.
of. Okay, so this one is a different one as well.
Yes, so this is a hot sauce bottle, and that's the extra hot from, I can tell from the long the long
Yeah.
name at the bottom.
And the color
So
that it must be
and
hot.
yes, so my colors are vibrant because my hot sauces are fermented hot sauces.
Okay.
And the advantage of doing a fermented hot sauce is so that I don't need to add sugar to it,
Okay.
to fully develop the flavor. Because
Oh,
I I did try a whole lot of hot sauces in my time, and what
right.
really irked me was when sugar was added to it. So
Right.
with this, it's a very straightforward recipe. I do a master batch of all my super hot chilies, and then I temper it down to different heat levels with fermented Romano peppers. So they're the long red peppers, and I
Mm-hmm.
ferment them, and then I temper it down to get the right intensity, and I bottle it. And that's what you end up with on the screen.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. Let's see whether we can get the next one on the as well. I think there's okay, that's now
Yeah.
interestingly there's this thing on the side that looks like crystals.
Okay, so it's that is my chili salt, I believe. So it's pink Himalayan salt
Mm-hmm.
with Szechuan peppercorns, chili flakes, and coriander seeds. So it's a seasoning, which is amazing in terms of just sprinkling on vegetables or meats, drizzle some olive oil on it, put it under the grill. I, I am saying so myself because I made it, and that's because my palate, I think, is very good. And yes, it's just a really nice piquant chili, but just the right amount of salt. So that's supposed to go into a salt grinder, which you see right next to it.
Right.
And then it helps you to put it on the plate, on the meat or the vegetables you're cooking. So the what you see in the pouch is the refill for the
Mm-hmm.
salt grinder.
Okay, so one on the left, I can tell you the bottle on the left is got chili salt written at the bottom, and then the one on the right says Chipotle,
Chipotle. Chipotle. So yes,
Chipotle smoked salt.
thank you so much for clarifying that. So I make two types of salt, the chili salt and then the chipotle salt, which is the dehydrated smoked jalapenos with
Mm,
smoked sea salt, black peppercorns, and chili flakes. So that is the refill pack for the grinder. So there's a grinder for chipotle, there's a grinder for chili salt, and then the refill packs as well.
I see. Interesting, interesting stuff. Wow. I tell you what, I'm lost. I'm on. Let me just see. There's I think there's a question on there, in
Okay.
the chat that says someone is not a question actually. Somebody saying patiently waiting for your website link. Well done. This
Oh,
is
thank
truly,
you.
it's truly amazing. And then also there is a question in the chat that says, do chilies grow all year round?
Under the right conditions, yes. So thank you for asking that question because that's where I'm headed to. I'm headed to being able to do this all year round. And to do that, I need a controlled environment,
Right.
and a large space in order to grow all the different varieties I like to grow.
Okay.
So under the right conditions, which is warmth, right amounts of light, and adequate space, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do so if I went to the shop or to the supermarket and I saw chili gold and I bought
Mhm.
a product
Mm.
and I want to use them in the kitchen, do I need to refrigerate them to preserve them, or do I just put them in a cool environment and they should be fine?
So they're kept in on the shelf. You find them on a shelf. They're
Right.
not. in mainstream supermarkets. I am listed in two food halls right now in local shops. So in a specialty chili shop and then a food hall at the garden center where I grow my chilies. So once it's open, you can put it in the fridge and it lasts a long time. And for the salts unless you put water in it, should last you a long time. So yes, they have good shelf life that follows them. The mashes are different. Once opened, it's best to keep them in the fridge
In the
so
fridge.
that you keep, being able to use it again and again.
Do you? There's another question in the chat that says that do
Mm.
you mix and create the sauces in your kitchen, or are you using a factory?
Okay, so this actually lends itself to my business coaching side. I started with what I had in hand, which was my kitchen.
Right.
And I was a bit concerned that I wouldn't be able to, because this is obviously a public offering. So I put my energies back into my training as a chemical engineer and turned my kitchen into a production kitchen.
Right.
So on the days I produce, it becomes a production kitchen. And I had to do that in order to fulfill the guidelines, the Food Standard Agency guidelines. So when they came to audit, so my kitchen is audited and approved
Right.
to
Yes.
produce this. So right now, everything is handmade, which is why I'm short on time because there are only so many hours in a day to do
Right.
everything that I do. And the idea going forward is to find a factory
Okay.
that I would be able to supply. So this is back to vertical integration. I am literally set up to be my own supplier right now.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, just for our listeners, if you just joined us, we are talking to Mrs. Ibukum Olajide, who is the CEO of Chili Gold, a unique business which transforms chili into a variety of products for a wide range of markets. Ibukum also happens to be a business coach, and she helps transform the passion into business for prospective entrepreneurs. So, next question goes, I say, Ibukum, is that how do you? This must cost a lot of money. I mean, you are leasing that space in the that space for as a farm or environment to grow your chilies. You are producing, even though producing in the kitchen, there must be other things, ingredients that you need to kind of purchase to make your products unique in a way. How do you finance your business in doing all of that?
Okay, so back to my earlier statement, start with what you have in hand. So this business is 2 years old, literally.
Okay.
And when I started, I only had a couple of hundred of pounds, and
Okay.
it was from my savings, if you will. It didn't cost a lot to start this business.
Okay.
It sounds crazy. It didn't cost a lot at all. So at the beginning, I didn't have this farm. So I did go out and buy a box of Scotch bonnets. I fermented them, which intensified the flavor and the heat,
Mm-hmm.
and I bottled it. And then I went to the Christmas market in Hertfordshire. So Hertfordshire is really big on markets, and then sold as much as I could. Then the money I got from that first sale, I reinvested into the business. So this business is self-funding right now. So yeah, we are thankfully doing well in terms of growth. I don't have loss in the strictest sense because
Okay.
what I'm doing in the early years of the business is reinvesting all the revenue apart from the need for ingredients and packaging back into the business. So it is a lot of work, but this is how you grow organically and also grow without the added pressure of having to pay back investors or
Okay.
bank loan because I'm not big into borrowing money
Okay.
at all. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very, very interesting. Very
Mm.
interesting. I like the bit about it's kind of growing the business, starting with what you have. So starting small, a couple of hundreds of pounds, buy a few things, just turn it around. The important thing is not to consume the seed, as it were. So
Yeah.
once you get any return, put it back into the business, and the business grows. You turn it around again, it grows. So you keep adding back, and it grows, kind of grows exponentially. And that's a very good business etiquette, as well the business technique that you're using. That's really good. Now, where can we find your products? Where I mean, we've got different places. I think you don't must have mentioned that. Probably may have missed it. But did you mention that they are not actually in the supermarkets at the moment? That they are. What do you say they are now?
So I have a supermarket target,
Okay.
which I will share when I get to it in
Mm-hmm.
that sense. But I'm not looking to be next to a 1 pound chili sauce.
No.
So I do have, if you will, it's a high-end chili sauce. I package it to reflect that, and it's priced adequately to reflect that as well. There are many other sources available, but in terms of my target market,
Mm-hmm.
it will get to it when that happens. So I don't neglect to answer your question fully. Could you please ask me the other part again?
So basically, what I was asking was that you have said that you don't think you're using the supermarkets per se, but there was another
Or
part
where you can
where you were
find
where
me?
you can find it. Yes.
Yes, so my website is www.chili.gold.
Mm-hmm.
www.chili.gold. You
Okay.
literally can go on there, click on shop and buy.
Okay.
If it's there, you can order it and it would be posted to you as soon as possible.
Okay. There is a question on the charts which says, "Have you considered adding smoked dried shrimps to the peppercorns?"
Oh, I love it. People are giving me recipe ideas. It privately in my house, I do. I add all that to it. So
Okay.
one of the key things, and this is about knowing your target market. One of the
Okay.
key things that I know my target market are quite sensitive to are any allergens. So
Right.
anyone with a shellfish allergy, can't say it, would shy away from what I do. So I try as much as possible when I put my recipes together to be gluten free as well as nut free.
Okay.
And that's because there are loads of other chili producers that would put all that in, and it's very good for them to do
Right.
so. But me knowing my target market and being focused on that market
Right.
is why I like the idea for me for dinner, and I will try it for dinner.
Okay, good. And that's another good point you've made there. You in business, you got to know your target market. You need to study your target market. You need to know your target market because there's no point creating if you have a target market creating a product that they will not participate in or they will not patronize. But otherwise, you just be throwing money down the drain.
Mm.
There's a question in the chat that asks, it says that everything is beautifully packaged. How did you go about choosing and sourcing your packaging?
So, in my time as a chemical engineer, I worked in the food and beverage industry. I
Okay.
worked in the food and beverage industry for over 10 years.
Hmm.
So, I went through several iterations of improving packaging in that industry. So, going into this, I instinctively knew I wanted it in glass, I wanted it easily pourable. So I also wanted it to have a polished look to it, which is why I have those colors on top of it. It's extra effort, but it does attract a lot of people. So people eat with their eyes and then they taste.
Okay.
So in that sense, that's how I ended up. Yeah, that's a better picture. Yeah, that's how I ended up with the packaging that I have.
Right, I like that. There's another nugget there. People eat with their eyes before they taste. Very interesting there.
Mhm.
That's a great point. And thanks for sharing that as well. Um, what's your unique selling point as a business?
So it's my name. If anyone is familiar with the chili industry, especially the artisan chili industry, you have names like Grim Reaper, Armageddon, God Stopper, Skeleton. scorpion kiss and all the wonderful stuff. I don't see a need for it. I just want chili. I don't want you to tell me I'm going to die if I buy your chili sauce.
Okay.
So I kept it very simple. Chili Gold being the gold standard for chili products, and also just keeping it classy. And also realizing I am a point of I am seriously an outlier in this industry. I'm a black woman in
Right.
a middle-aged man's world, white man's world, to even be more specific. So in that sense, owning who I am in terms of my identity, I like things looking a certain type of way,
Okay.
and also it's appealing to my target audience a certain type of way is how I ended up with my unique selling point. I'm the gold standard for chili artisan products, and it's classy. So that's my unique selling point.
Interesting, interesting. And for the audience out there, if you've just joined us, we've been talking to Mrs. Ibukumo Lajide, who is a business entrepreneur. She is the CEO of Chili Gold, a unique business that transforms chili into a variety of products for a wide range of markets. Ibukum is also known for providing business coaching for prospective entrepreneurs by helping them transform their passion into business profits. Um, so, Ibukum, back to you again. How has the market reacted to your chili products?
Now that's a very good question. They've reacted very well. So 2 years in, I'm at the point where I have waiting list for some of my products that are seasonal.
Okay.
And that overwhelms me. It fills me with joy, that I am really serving people who like what I'm producing. So the market has reacted well. I did my very first chili festival, because you need to bear in mind we've had COVID for a year.
Right.
I did my first chili festival 2 weekends ago, and it was amazing how people just the compliments, number
Right.
one, but followed by the money. Because
Okay.
yes, it's good for people to say it's good, but if they're not paying, then it isn't, in my
Right.
opinion. So in that sense, the market has reacted very well.
Okay.
It's developing a cult following, which is back to my vision for it to grow organically, and for the end point in terms of where it's going to go on a shelf.
Okay, okay. It's interesting to look at the journey once again. You started from your daddy giving you chili bean sauce, which was hot. You moved into the UK. You felt that the sauce, the chili sauces here were not hot enough, and you had been brought up well to learn to cook. And you thought I could create hot chili sauce for myself, and then you decided to add the cooking bit to it, created a product. You didn't know where to start. You've approached someone, got the greenhouse, and there you are. You've got a waiting list of people for your products. A fantastic story, and it kind of confirms the point I was making at the beginning, that you have a unique business, and you are doing things in a different way. You're not actually following the status quo. Now, with all the big companies out there who are processing or manufacturing different sources, how are you able to survive as a small business? And you're only 2 years into your business.
So this is the thing. I'm not looking to run the world. I have my own personal targets of what I want to achieve monetarily, as well as satisfaction.
Right.
So yes, the big businesses, I can name several competitors, which I wouldn't,
Yeah.
are piling them high, selling them low.
Yes.
So for them, it works. They have people they need to pay and things like that. Right now, I have a very lean business model that will grow as time and revenue allows it to.
Okay.
So I'm patient.
Okay.
I am very patient, and I know what my monetary targets are, but more importantly, my contentment target. So I
Okay.
started this because I was stressed out in my 9 to 5. I'm not looking to stress myself out with this.
So, have you, in trying to avoid the competition with the big boys, have you identified a specific niche that you are starting with? Because obviously, like you as an African and you love chili, you probably have fellow Africans out there who also love a lot of chili, and they don't find a lot of sort of spiciness in what is out there. So by creating this, you're starting with them and saying, these are my niche. They're similar to me. They like something that is a bit more spicy than what's out there in the market. Let me start
Mm.
with them. Word of mouth goes. People want to buy it, and then it grows and grows and grows. And then the big businesses will be advertising their business. You are not actually advertising your business, but your products are speaking for themselves because they are
Yes.
very good quality.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. But yes, so back to the niche question, which as a business coach, I get every single client to work on knowing your niche and targeting them either by finding them where they are, going to them, or making them come to you by referrals or even advertising is
Yes.
what Chili Gold has done in the
Okay.
first 2 years so far.
Okay.
So in that sense, my niche, a lot of people will be surprised, is not actually Africans, not because I'm not targeting them, but they don't buy as much
Okay.
of finished chili products because we cook with chili products.
Okay.
So we're more familiar with it. A
Okay.
lot of, like I mentioned earlier on, white middle-aged men are
Okay.
my main customers. If
Mm.
if you look at the demographic, it's amazing and strange, but they love chilies. They can eat hotter than most Africans,
Oh wow.
strangely enough. Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting one there. Okay. Now that's very interesting about the chili side and your chili business. But the one thing we know about you, Ibukum, is that your
Mhm.
life is not all about chili.
No.
You've talked about the business coaching aspect of your life. So tell us, what other things you do in addition to the chili? Business coaching and what and what?
So I'm a mother. My husband and I homeschool our 2 boys. So I am the fun teaching assistant. He's the primary educator.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have good friends, I have family, and pretty much I just live life for God.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Very interesting. Okay, so just to focus a bit more on your business coaching aspects
Yes.
for startup, do you hold sessions for coaching that some of our audience can turn up to?
Yes, I do. So my coaching business, business coaching business, it's a mouthful when you say it that way, is called Power in Clarity Coaching. So my website is www.powerinclaritycoaching.com. And
Mm-hmm.
if they book a clarity call, they would be able to pretty much settle on if they're ready to start their business and on what courses they can go on with me to walk them through starting up, really getting their client base locked in and their marketing strategy, as well as other business nitty gritties that tend to get startups really nervous.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's
Okay.
how my business coaching works.
Okay, that's interesting. And just for the audience out there, if you have any other questions for Ibukum, you could put them in the chat, or if you kind of remember your question after the program, please send your questions to business and experts forum at gmail.com. Business and experts forum at gmail.com. So, um, we're running up now on our time. On your journey as an entrepreneur,
Mm.
what have been some of your achievements and some of your do you have you had any regrets?
Oh, so achievements actually starting because it's difficult to start. A lot of us have ideas over the course of our professional, personal lives. We think, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And just starting, because it was along the lines of I had the idea, and within 8 months, I had sold the first bottle.
8 months.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had the idea in a February,
Right.
and pretty much by November. So it was end of February, end of November. I had sold my first bottle. So in that sense, that's a great achievement for me because I've had other ideas in the past that I didn't actually act on, and that's the important thing. Take the first step. In terms of regret, I won't say regrets. Not yet.
Not
And
yet.
I know they do come because obviously we can do things differently always. but I have had some significant learning points. I am not superwoman. She
Okay.
is a figment of someone's imagination, a man to be precise.
Right.
So I can't do everything, is my point. I need to know to delegate. I also need to know to outsource at the right time. Those are my learning points.
Okay, okay, that's really interesting. Before we run up, I just want to once again say to our audience that we've been listening to Mrs. Ibokum Olajide, who is a business entrepreneur. She's the CEO of Chili Gold, a unique business which transforms chili into a variety of products for a wide range of markets. As I said before, if you have any questions after the program for Ibokum, you can send it to business and experts forum at gmail.com, business and experts forum at gmail.com. We're just gonna, what I'm gonna do now in become is to kind of round up by highlighting some of the key points that you have raised, and then we can kind of wrap up the program basically. um, you have said that it all started with frustration, as it were. Okay. And you said also that let your passion show and never know what will come out of it. Just follow your passion and you never know what will come out of it. You started off by renting a greenhouse. You rented a greenhouse, and normally people are scared to do some of these things, but you're brave enough to go ahead and rent a greenhouse to use for it. And in fact, you approached somebody thinking it wasn't going to go nowhere, but it did go somewhere, and this is where you are with a waiting list of people looking for your products. Now, you also said that if you can be the supplier to the supplier, be the supplier to the supplier, really key, because that reduces your cost, and that means that your business become more and more profitable. As a young business, that is really helpful because you don't want to overburden yourself with loans at the start of your business. Do your research. You said do your research, start with what you have in your hand, reinvest into their business. You should know your target market. You also said know your target market, know your niche, and then yeah, basically reinvest into the business. Remember, people eat with their eyes. I am taking that one in particular away. People eat with their eyes
Yeah.
before they taste. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you. But you know one thing in on this program, one thing we do is that we always put our guests on the spot before they leave the program. So I'm going to
Okay.
ask you to give me 4 words that describe you. 4 words that describe you, Ibukum.
Oh. Hmm. Without sounding big headed, but I do affirm myself regularly. So I would start with intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable,
Mm-hmm.
passionate,
Mm-hmm.
and also clear.
Claire, as in Clear.
Yes.
Okay, so you said intelligent, knowledgeable, passionate, and clear. Now, what we're going to ask you to do, Ibukum, is
Okay.
to compose a song using those 4 words. So simply compose a song, your own composition,
Oh dear.
using the 4 words you've given us. You've given us intelligent, knowledgeable,
Yeah.
passionate, and clear. So there you go. The floor is yours.
Okay. I'll take creative license and try and put a poem together as opposed to sing
No,
and
we want you to
blast
sing.
YouTube out of the universe.
We want you to sing. We love. We look. We want you to sing. Go Ivokum. Sing for us. Just put the words together and see. Let's see how you operate out of the chili business, or out of the business coaching business. You are our student now. Now, okay, we are your student actually. Teach us by singing how to be knowledgeable, intelligent, passionate, and clear.
Okay. I once again, I defer on singing. I'm not going to sing.
Okay,
It's not
okay,
good for anyone's ears to hear me sing right now.
okay,
So I would try and put together a ditty in terms of incorporating those words and
okay,
just to encourage anyone.
okay,
So if you're out there with an idea, know that you're intelligent enough to have the idea in the first instant.
okay.
And if you're passionate about that idea, you can then turn it into a business that would obviously grow into profit because you're clear on your vision and you build your knowledge by investigating that idea with everything else out there, and yeah, you get a business of your dreams.
Thank you.
That's it.
Would prefer to have it in a song, but I must say that it is equally good. In fact, it's even better with words. What we're gonna recopy that, and then we'll create a song out of it, and then we'll try and
Oh
get
dear.
some copyright off
Okay.
you. It's been a pleasure, Ikubukum, having you on the program. I just want to put our hands together for you. You have been
Thank
a real
you.
pleasure coming out there, sharing your business ideas. I must say that I am impressed. I've spoken with you before, but now asking the questions and delving a bit more into what you are doing, that even opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it just tells me how good you are on what you do. And I like the fact that you are someone who doesn't give up.
No.
You just launch out and you
Mm.
go with your faith in everything. You just launch out with all the energy that you have. So it's been a pleasure out there. Pleasure having you out here, just sharing with us. Just for our audience, as we said at the very beginning of this program, we are in season one. This is the final episode of season one. We are going to go on a short break, but please look out for season two, because season two is going to come up really shortly. We're not going to tell you when, but keep looking out. Just please subscribe to the channel, Business and Experts Forum, and please remember to click on the bell so that when there is an episode coming up, you will be notified. Okay. And we don't go off by before thanking you, the audience out there, and saying, as I say every day or on every episode, without you this program will not take. So please keep listening. Subscribe to Business and Experts Forum. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, send it to businessandexpertsforum@gmail.com. So until next time, we'll be coming away with another episode of the Business and Experts Forum. This is Marcus saying before that, Igbokum, thank you very much once again. It's been a pleasure being having you out here, and thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to talk to us. So until next episode, this is me saying bye for now, and thanks for listening.